All right, what's up? So first thing we're gonna do is import the JSON file. So we're just gonna go browse, look at your JSON file, open, hit import. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna populate all your runes into the program or the web page. When it's done, it'll tell you at the top right hand side imported data, how many runes, monsters, etc. So the big focus that we need to focus on when it comes to reruning and efficiency, the first thing we want to do is go to the runes tab. And what that's going to do is it's going to show you all the runes that you have. You can change it from your location to on a monster to wherever you want to look for the runes. So the main reason to do this is by inventory after a free rune removal, and then you can sort by efficiency percent. So for instance, say that we want to look at a specific rune that I have, right? So this rune right here, this shield rune, so we can look at everything even after the grind. So this right here was grinded 6 on a defense percent rune. So this tells me that it was a purple grind and that it got a medium roll, or it was a legend grind and got a shit roll, or even that it was a blue grind and got a max roll. So this is average, I guess. Then we move over to the next one. This is a 9% grind on an HP percent. So this tells me that it was a legendary grind. So I don't know. I mean, I guess its efficiency is fine. If going back, looking hindsight, I don't think I would have used a legend grind on this rune. But that's neither here nor there. Basically, this tool is just to tell you what you rolled and how efficient the rune is. So the thing that we need to look at is always the efficiency percent, not the efficiency percent max. And the reason for that is because say you have a legend rune, even though the efficiency percent max could be, say, 110%, and it's only at +0. So that means that if you get good rolls, the rune could be very good. However, the likelihood of getting the rolls that you need in a high number are not going to equate to the efficiency max percent. I would say 9999999 out of 100,000 times, right? So we always look at efficiency percent, not efficiency percent max. The next thing that we want to look at here is the other stats that are on the rune. So for instance, say I have a fatal rune. It says that it's almost 100% efficiency, but say that rune has defense percent or resistance or flat defense, something that you're not going to want on a fatal rune, because fatal is for what? Doing damage, right? So we don't care about defense percent on a fatal rune. So this right here is pretty void. These other stats, however, are, I guess, decent. However, I don't know if I would want accuracy on a fatal rune unless I'm using it on a bomber. So just make sure that the runes that they say they have high efficiency percent, they're actually not trash by looking at the stats that are on them. The next tab that we have here, this tells you the amount of rune sets that you have. Obviously, I have a fuck ton of Violent and Will and Swift, a bunch of other things. However, you never want, well, when you're starting out the game, you're probably going to have more of these be your primary set. But you don't want to focus on these runes. You always want to focus on these 4 right here, as you can tell based on how many I have, right? So this is end games type stuff, but this should be your goal to get to having more violent, will, swift, and despair sets than anything. All right, so the next tab, we can look at a specific monster, right? Say that I want to make my Bestep better, but I don't know which rune to start looking at replacing. So for this one right here, I can look at, so I know my slot 1 can be replaced, my slot 2 can be replaced, and my slot 3 can be replaced because they're all medium efficiency, right? So the issue you're going to run into this with, though, is finding other runes that have speed, because obviously this is an attack bar buffer, so we need speed. So finding a rune that's number 1 slot with more than 19 speed and some other decent stats with higher efficiency is going to be hard, especially when this is like my 3rd fastest Swift set. So I don't really care that these 3 runes are low efficiency. But for instance, if you want to, this is just a good way to pick out an individual monster. Say you want them to be better, but you don't know which rune to start replacing. So this is a good way to find out. So next tab is to look at all your monsters' overall stats. Say for whatever reason you want to look at whichever monster has the highest attack on any of your monsters in the game. You can sort it by this. If you don't know which one monster has the highest speed, you can go here too. Obviously, you should know which of your monsters has the highest speed, but if you don't, for whatever reason, you can sort it by speed, etc., etc. The same for any of these other stats. Also, you can look here for average efficiency, even though I prefer the other tab. But This is a good way to see your monster's overall efficiency based on the runes that they have equipped. Don't worry about this priority list. So here, this is a good way. So say, for instance, I want to rune my, I don't know, who's unruined right now? Say I want to rune my second Samoth. So I want to rune my second Samoth. I want to rune him on, say, I don't know, Fatal Blade. No broken sets, so I want it to have these exact sets. The slot, I want it to be speed, crit damage, and attack. You can also add in other stats here. So if you want speed, crit damage, HP, this is a possibility. So it'll just calculate what you have total in your rune pool, and then you can choose only use runes from your inventory. You can use runes from this will pull from any monster if you uncheck this box. So be careful when you're doing this because you're gonna unrune some people that you don't want to unrune when you put these stats in. So for instance, if I want the minimum speed to be say 230, I want the minimum attack to be plus 1,000, so we take his base plus we add to that, so we want it to be 1856 minimum attack. So then we just hit optimize. Depending on how many runes you have, this could take a fuckload of time, especially if you do some stuff with some broken sets up here. So if you uncheck this and then you take it off, you could really be here for a while it buffers and figures out. So basically, essentially, this is what we came up with, and you can sort it by efficiency percent and see which one is the most efficient, but then you also need to look at the complete and total stats, right? So for Samoth, you don't want him to be super tanky. So, I mean, even though I put HP percent here, ideally you would not do this in a perfect world. You would do speed, crit damage, attack. But for comparison's sakes, we're going to say that this one right here is the one that we want to go with because it has the highest efficiency percent. So we can see that if I'm going to do this, I have to take off the rune from Lynn, I have to take off a rune from Dover and Taor. So to me personally, I'm not going to do that because I like those 3 units runed how they are. But just so you can see, when you're doing this after free rune removal, obviously you're not going to have this problem because you're going to have all your runes available. So you just need to write down who you want to rune, the priority, and who should get your best runes. So then you can experiment with this tab, put in all kind of different shit. You'll be here for hours doing this, I promise. Don't worry about the priority list tab, and then the speed tune tab is pretty basic and self-explanatory. You just put all your monsters in. So say I want Bastet, Juno, Vanessa, Perna. Okay, it's not working with me, but say I want Juno to go before Bastet, obviously, right? Because I want Juno to strip. So then this tells me that, okay, my Bastet is faster than my Juno. So I would have to change the runes based on the speed and make Juno slower than 247, or make Bastet slower than 247, excuse me. And then the only other thing that you need to do is change your speed tower if it's actually not maxed. So if it's 13%, level 9, or whatever the case may be. And that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions on certain stuff, just let me know and I'll do my best to help you out.